This is section 10.3.2. We're going to solve trig functions with identities. In this lesson, we're going to solve trigonometric functions. Now, I'm just going to show the beginning part, not the all possible solutions, not the entering it in our calculator. We've practiced it for a few days now, so I think we're good with that, but we're just going to look at some more complicated manipulations of these problems. So in this instance, I see sine on both sides. I want to bring side to the other side. So I get 3 sine cubed x minus sine squared x. Now I can't combine them together because they're different terms. So that's why I leave it as minus sine squared. Now we have to look at what's in common. There's a sine squared in common. And now I can set each of those equal to 0 for the zero product principle. So square root both sides, sine inverse. You're going to get sine inverse of 0. So we need to think of the unit circle. What values does sine give me? 0. And then add 1, divide by 3, sine inverse. So this, no unit circle, so you're going to have to use a calculator. And then you have to remember it's a positive ratio, and so sine is positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2, so you have to find that rotation and that rotation. And those would be your values from 0 to 360. For this one here, it says secant squared, and then I have a tangent on the other side. Now, I can't do anything because one's secant, one's tangent. So then I have to think, okay, do I know any identities? Can I turn a tangent into secant, or can I turn a secant into tangent? And so the identity is 1 plus tangent squared equals secant squared. So if I know that 1 plus tangent squared equals secant squared, I can replace it. Okay, and so now I can bring everything to one side. So bring it over, subtract, subtract. You're going to get tangent squared x minus tangent x. And then the 1 minus 3, so minus 2. Now if I think of this, like to help us factor it, u squared minus u minus 2. A times c, factors of 2 that add to negative 1. Okay, it's going to be negative 2 and plus 1. So I can do tangent x minus 2, tangent x plus 1. Multiply it out. Let's see if that's what we get. Tan is tangent squared. Tan and 1 is plus 1. Negative 2 plus tan is minus 2. So negative 2 and 1 gives you minus 1. And then negative 2 times 1 gives you negative 2. So that works out. So now you set each equal to 0. Add 2, tangent inverse, minus 1, tangent inverse. So for here, what two quadrants give you a positive tangent? That's going to be in quadrant 1 and quadrant 4 or 3. And then to get a negative tangent, that's quadrant 2 and quadrant 4. So you have to find that rotation, you have to find that rotation. You need to find that rotation, you need to find that rotation. So you're not done. Just remember, you're not done with this, but you need to enter those into your calculator and find what those rotations are. So I have cosine of 2x, but this is just an x. So again, I can't really combine things together just yet. So what are my double angle identities for cosine? I have cosine squared minus sine squared. Okay, that doesn't help me because then I have sines and cosines. I have 2 cosine squared minus 1. That will help me because now everything is going to be cosines. So I can replace this with 2 cosine squared x minus 1. Bring everything to one side. So let's add 2, so then it'll be plus 1. So if I were to factor this, let's think of it as 2u squared minus 3u plus 1, just to make it easier for us to visualize. A times c, 2, factors of 2 that add to negative 3, negative 2, negative 1. So 2u squared minus 2u minus 1u plus 1. Factor out 2u. Factor out the negative. So then this becomes 2u minus 1 and u minus 1. So plugging that stuff back in, you get 2 cosine of x minus 1, and then cosine of x minus 1. So now setting each of these equal to 0. Add 1, divide by 2. Cosine inverse. So where in the unit circle is my cosine 1/2? Add 1. Cosine inverse. Where in the unit circle is my cosine 1? But this is the most important piece. Let's look at one more. I have sine of 2x equals radical 3 cosine x. So again, sine of 2x, I can't combine that with either cosine. I can't combine that with x because I have 2x and x. So what is my identity? That's 2 sine x cosine x. So let's replace it and let's see what happens. So maybe if I bring it to one side, so now what's in common? There's a cosine. So let's say if I factor out the cosine. There we go. So now I could set each equal to 0. So I can add root 3, divide by 2, sine inverse, and then or cosine inverse. So what did we learn today? Today we took a look at a bunch of trig equations that we had to use some factoring and we had to use some identities for. This does conclude our lesson. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments.